All right. I am trying to sort my Arteza paints a little bit and come up with some other way to store them. And I'll show you the books that we were talking about on Kathy Arbor's. Right now I'm just using solo cups to store the paints for lack of anything else. Let me pull up chat. For those of you watching the recording, you might want to run forward a few minutes. I took out the books to show everybody. All right, I'm just pulling out the metallics. So there's more room in this cup. All right, so that works. So I just use these cups and put them in color families in the cart for right now until I can figure out a better system. There are so many greens and yellows in this set. There's 2 cups of green and just 1 little cup of blue. I was sort of surprised. Hi, Eileen. All right. Put this, and then we're gonna work in the composition book. I'm almost done with all the backgrounds. I've been trying to reclaim counter space in here. I got the old Cameo out. Hi, Lori. Hi, Julie. Hi, Shauna. All right, so this is the books that I was talking about at Kathy Arbor Stream when we were doing the flowers. When I started looking into making watercolor my own, I was looking for a recipe. It was before I ended up just buying the watercolor medium. I was trying to figure out what was the proportion of everything. So this book talks about earth pigments and what earth pigments are used. Lena and I were kind of talking about, it talks about the history, storage, how to gather your own earth pigments, how to process them. This even talks about like traveling, like how to use them when you're traveling to like plein air. This looks like it's like dyeing type, like raffia, or bundling the stuff while you're gathering. This is examples of what they've used it for or done with it. Show some of the artwork, dyeing processes. Then there's recipes for watercolors, gouache, tempera, glare, which is a binder made from egg whites, casein or milk paint, a weight-based modeling paste, cold wax mediums, wax crayons, pastel crayons, fabric paints, printmaking ink, and then it just finishes up and it has more of a gallery. So that's the ISBN number, and it's called Earthen Pigments by Sandy Webster. The second book is called The Organic Artist, and it's about making your own paint, paper, pigments, prints from nature. And it's by Nick Mito. And it has 10 chapters. So there's an introduction, then there's a section on charcoal, pens, inks, inkwells and painting dish, paint brushes, pigments and paints, crayons, paper, printmaking, and then there's some information on like the Copic stitch to make journals. Now this one had quite a bit that some of the things I wanted to try that I've marked. There were some inks that I thought were interesting. There was a coffee ink, a beet ink, berry inks, acorn ink, and there's an iron and vinegar solution. Rosemary would love this book. Black walnut ink, they're using their crock pot. Soot ink, and then this is about like storing it, like making a pot, then making your own paint brushes. Then you come back in and it talks about mineral pigments and paints. And again, this is using earth pigments, what you'll need, grinding them. There's recipes for crayons, making your own wax sticks, using beeswax and tinting it. And then it goes into making paper, and there's talks about making molds, paper making process. So that's a good book too, and it has recipes. It's called The Organic Artist by Nick Mito. And I don't know if you can see the, I got all of these on Amazon. And then the last one I bought is called The Natural Paint Book, and it's got recipes and finishes. So it tells you the history of paint, choices, paint recipes, decorative techniques. It's more from a home design perspective in some ways. But there's beer glazes, furniture wax, vinegar, and like staining wood with vinegar. So some of it goes to, like I said, home finishing and home paints, line wash. Some of it would not apply to your canvas necessarily or your paper. A lot of it's geared towards furniture. And then gesso, there's a recipe for gesso. Then it talks about different techniques using some of the paints. Again, mostly on walls. And then it gets more into art because it's talking about stenciling, reverse stencil, wax resist, freehand painting. And then there's waxes, clays and plasters, fresco. So this one is more from a decorator's perspective. All right, so I have just about finished my comp book. Hi, Dottie. Hi, Lena. And hi, Kathy. Great stream, Kathy. Hi, Sin. And hello to anybody that is lurking and working. All right, so a lot of this you've seen, but I'll do a quick flip through. And we'll talk about the pages I have tabbed because they're the ones now. They're not finished journal pages. I know what I'm going to do for the most part. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. I am going to finish the cover and everything. But I'm just working up to like a background level with not a concept, like an end in mind right now. Just, oh, I like that background. I think it's done. So the beginning of the book is done. And there are 2 pages in the comp book glued together with glue stick. And some of those, when you get super wet, come apart. And I just re-glue them as they come apart and glue them back down. So it's a lot. It's really fluffy, has a lot of wrinkles in it, but I don't care. This is one I finished yesterday. And this was just markers, sprays, gesso, a layer of paint, and then this was a tissue, and this was tissue with Daddy Vans and a piece of dictionary print. And I think it's ready. This one I put a finish on here, and I really don't like this product. It's super sticky. It's supposed to be a multi-purpose sealer, but I have to keep this deli. I'm going to have to put a varnish on it when I'm all done. I have to keep that deli paper in there because it sticks on itself. I had not used this before, and it would be fine probably on a canvas before you put the varnish. Or maybe something that it absorbed in more, but it did not work in here. So I'll probably put a matte varnish on the final piece. All right, I finished this one yesterday, and can y'all see my mistake? Right side up tissue. I almost put the dogs upside down, and then when I tore the other side, somehow I put it shiny side down. So this side is more matte. The dogs are not shiny and reflective. They look like more of a platinum. So this one is done, in my opinion. It's ready. This one I think y'all have seen before. This one I'm pretty sure everybody has seen. All right, so this is one of the first ones. This needs something else to calm it down. Let me see if I can move the camera in one more notch. Yeah, Paula's pages looked out really, they were turning out cool. I like the texture plates, which I don't have any. All right, that software is opening up. Just a second. You can't have it open when you start, and then it's hard to. That's a little better. So I thought maybe either white paint or a dark purple, but this needs something. I just don't know what. It could be, it's too busy. So this is one of the ones I want to work on today. This one's done. Done. This is another one that I'm not sure about. it's layers of paint, and then I put fin wax on. And I like this side. And I think it could be done as a background, but yeah, maybe gesso on this one too, possibly. So that's one of the ones. And hi, Susan. This one is done. I like it. And I think it's ready. This one I did yesterday, and it's done. And it was busy, and I kind of put a gesso on it, a light layer, and that kind of helped. This one is done, and this was sprays and then fin wax through different stencils. And I like how it turned out. And I love how this one turned out. It was sprays, or could have been the FW type inks, and then it's my tinted Daddy Vans through a stencil. It's the stuff we made the other day in red and blues. This one is done. This is a napkin that Shauna had sent me with leaves. And this is that cleanup print that I had done on the jelly plate the other day. This one is done. It's the sprays and the FW ink type stuff, stamping, paint with a stencil, and a jelly print. This one is done. This one is done as far as a background goes. They're not done. I think this one has got 4 pages glued together, but I can't tell anymore. This one is another one that I think is kind of wild. Hey, Journal Artista. Hi, Paula. I was just going through my comp book because I'm down to like 9 pages need, and then I'm ready to like finish them. No worries. We looked at some books in the beginning, Paula, about making your own pigments and eco dyeing and stuff that I had gotten. And it has recipes. So that's what's on the beginning of the video. But I think I want to wait till I know what's going to go on this one. So I think I'm going to leave it alone today. This one I think is done. And it's jelly printed, sewing pattern, tissue that was jelly printed, and stencil work. This is another one that needs lightning, but I think I want to wait till I know. Thank you, Paula. I think I want to wait till I know what I'm going to put on it. And when I explain what I'm going to put in the book to finish it, it'll make more sense. This one I love. It's like the FW inks and the Bombay ink and water and smushed through several pages. And it feels like suede. So this one I'm just going to leave as a background. This one I wasn't sure of until last night. It's the FW inks, the same ones that kind of bled through. This is a jelly printed napkin, jelly printed tissue. Somebody sent me this, so I don't even know where it came from. And this is a napkin of a feather. And this I love because it's just real subtle. This one needs something. It's that Daddy Van tissue that we did in the stream and we just threw down. I put some mermaid tail. I'm thinking I might do a mermaid on this page, but I thought about putting this on it when I finish it. So I'm just going to leave that in there. Does this one need anything? I think it needs white, possibly. Or cream. Oh, did you put pictures on Instagram? Thank you, Lena. All right, so let me know what you think on this one. I'm leaning towards maybe using this same stencil and coming back with some, or a doily-like stencil and coming back with some white. Thank you. It's all inspired by you, Paula. I'm just throwing stuff on the pages until I think it looks like a background. All right. This one is Joggles tissue, and I put fins through a feather stencil on this side, and then I put it through a peacock stencil on the other side. And this page smells so good. This one's done. This one's done. And when I say done, I mean a background. And this is like really my style, like grunge, my favorite type of. This one I think is done. I put stencil on this one. I put some of that halo blue gold paint through an old leaf stencil, since it said mountain greenery on the music paper. So I think this one's done. I did this one last night, and I used a napkin that had like was white with black, and you can see through it. And I added some turquoise, and this was that same feather napkin with the 2 eggs, and I put it over here. This was stamping. This was napkin, and then I used Lena's trick, and I added splots using the pour paint. So this is what I bought. Let me show it to this. I ended up, this one's not open. This is the brand that I bought, and they're like $11 on US Amazon Mark. They're a set, like a color set. This is, I have 2 of the mint greens and 2 of the blues, but I'll just put them aside but the best set that I got was a black, a white, a silver, and a gold. And that was like, if you just wanted to get a little, yes, these were on a napkin. And they have speckled egg on them, Eileen. So I used, you don't have to water it down. So that's where the little splattering came from, was from this. And that was Lena's genius hack, because you're not adding any water, so it's not going to flake off, and it's super easy and fast. Mine is pretty fat, but I glued a lot of papers, Paula. I glued a lot of tissues, and anytime that I had binding problems, I put sewing tissue or napkin over the seam to kind of help it. And I did put it under pressure. At night, I would leave it flattened with something heavy on it. When it was with, I would put, if it was still wet, I would put the paper and leave it with all of the deli paper and put a heavy weight on it so that it would kind of keep it flattened and like a press. So but it is pretty fluffy. I finished this one last night, and I thought that this was a really different. I have these stencils that are for decorating. So they're really out of scale, ginormous. And I thought, why not use it in that super big, oversized? Yeah, I dry them with a heat gun to an extent, but a lot of times I'll leave them. And when I stick these in when they're wet, I'm using this deli paper sometimes to move some of the splots around and smushing it when I did like the FW inks. So I'm going to try to remember to use these because I kind of like that oversized. This is tissue that I stamped on. I didn't put Daddy Vans, so that's why it's not completely translucent. This one, I like how this one turned out. This was jelly printed, and then we put a piece of Daddy Van sewing tissue on it. And this was a napkin with clocks, and then washi tape. And I kind of like that grunge. Hi, Gray. This is one we're going to work on today. It's the first one I want to work on. So it definitely needs something. And I put some stuff to make some decisions. This is another one that is a jelly print. I like this side here. This side is too dark. So I put some napkins that I thought I might use, but it could end up being a focal point. So I have an idea. And I'll show you that in just a minute. We're almost done with the flip through, and then we're going to come back to these two pages. This one was sprays and then jelly printed over, and I like it just the way it is. So I'm going to leave it to just get a focal point. This was a jelly print, Daddy Van tissue, jelly print, and then the feather stencil with the fins, old silver. This was jelly printed, and then I added a jelly print to it, these two jelly prints. And then I don't know if you can tell, but there's a fern kind of tone on tone stenciled, because this one was kind of not so good. This one, the pattern was there. It's the same stencil that's in this jelly print. This is another one that I think is like really dark, but I think when I finish it might be when I need to tone it down, when I have the focal point in mind. So this is another one that I know it's dark and really busy. To me, it looks like a quilt with all the papers and napkins. And it's got lots of iridescent paint. So this is one I think I want to wait till I know like what it's going to be. Hi, Lori. All right, this is another one that I like this side. It's a jelly print and it's 2 napkins. And I like this side a lot. This side, when I tried to put the napkin over the other napkin, to me, it got too busy. So I'm thinking about on this one that I want to stencil something in like a metallic dark brown right in here. And I thought about using, because this is like fruit, I thought about using this old oversized stencil right here. So I think that's what I'm going to do on there. That's why this is out. Somebody sent that. I don't even think it's ever been, well, maybe it's been used. It was Vonnie, so It's perfectly clean. It doesn't look used. Not like my stencils. So I think that's what we'll do there. This one, we're almost done. This one is done. This was jelly printed Kathy style, and I didn't get great prints that day. This is a napkin that's over the jelly print, and then this is a paper that I jelly printed and stenciled that I fell in love with. This is in my Etsy shop, this paper. Well, a lot of these papers and pages will be in my Etsy. This one I like just kind of as is, and that's Inktense and Paula. That has worked really well. Like to doodle with the Inktense pencil when it's dry. And then, so here, so just whatever marks you're going to make. This is another Lena hack, but she used it in a different way. And then give it a spray. And then once that's dry, that'll be set. So that was an easy way to make marks. Because, you know, it's easy to write with a pen or a pencil. But the papers have to be dry when you go to make your marks. And then I just lightly spray it. Lena had drawn, I think it was the Colosseum that Lena did. Like it was a city scene, Italy or something. And she drew it all in Inktense pencil in one color. And then she sprayed it lightly and rolled a paper towel over for us. And then she went in and finished the watercolor. So I like that graffiti type marking, and that's what this is. Some of that is in the background of this one. This one's busy, but I think when I put the focal point on it, it'll be fine. This one has some of that Inktense on it, and it reminded me of like a graffiti wall. And I know exactly what I'm going to put on this page, and I'm going to leave it the way it is. And that's just kind of gesso using a card smeared. This one is the FW inks and the Bombay inks. And there's just some like jelly printed napkin. And I think I'm just going to leave that. And then that's some scribble work. This was leftover ink and some blotted rice paper that I used to blot stuff. I just kept that same rice paper and was blotting things with it. And then I added some doodles with the Inktense pencil. And I liked how that was grungy, so I'm going to leave this one. This is a layer of the sprays, and then it's the tinted Daddy Van wax through a stencil, and then a jelly printed paper. And then the last page was a jelly print that wasn't so-so, and I added a jelly printed napkin on top of it that had metallic, and then I put when I had a dauber, and it's distress. So here's what I'm going to do with this. I am going to print some of my artwork that I have digital and finish the journal. I'm going to print the art pieces like 5x7. So like the monkey and the bear and the zebra and some of the fun things that I've done. And some of the originals are gone that I've sold. And I'm going to go through and use my previous artwork on all the other pages with quotes. So it'll kind of be a lookbook. I could take it to art shows to show people for like commissions and stuff. Yeah, I have my second one ready, Lena, to start splashing ink in it. But I want to finish this one first. So now I want to finish these few pages today, and then I'm going to print some of the artwork. I'm going to print things 5 by 7, and I'm just going to print it on regular copy paper so that I can fussy cut it and then lay it into these and add quotes and those kinds of things. Yeah, I have my second one ready. Sitting somewhere, oh, right here. Ready, Freddy. I haven't glued the pages. I need to glue the pages together. That is the tedious part. Glue sticking all the pages. And the last time I didn't glue stick, I just glue stick I started working in the front, and then I glue sticked in the back, and then I glue sticked in the middle, and I should have glue sticked them all. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Paula. You have like 3.5, and I have 1. Okay, so this page, I'm pretty sure I want this right there. Because it's picking up that PBO black blue. And so I'm pretty sure I want that napkin right there. Then the question is going to be what to do with this page because they have to match. So I have 3 other options, but let's glue this down. Can always get that. I need some tape. I can always get that first layer, and I should turn this fan off or move it. Let me swing it the other way so it's not blowing. Hi, Kathy. I fell asleep after Paula and missed. I'm going to have to go back and watch you and Colleen. I keep staying up super late, so I am not an early bird. So I'm going to put that right there. Hi, Sandra. And I think I'm going to just leave it squared up. As squared as it's going to be. Some of the pages I may end up not putting artwork. I may just put quotes, but I'm pretty sure I have, well, not pretty sure. I am sure I have enough artwork between animals, bunnies, and that kind of stuff. I think I have enough of my own. That I can use. Like I found a girl in my photographs from the New Year's Eve stream, the second stream. Somebody couldn't stream, and I did a second one. And I gave away the originals. But it's a girl sitting on a picnic table, and that's what I'm going to throw on this page right here. I'm going to fussy cut her and throw her down with some kind of quote from Sticker Nation. Yeah, I like nautical stuff. All right, so that side was easy. Now, Here are the choices for this side. And the white will go away, and you'll still see this in the background. So I could just put this all over napkin print, or I could take a couple of the starfish, like 2 or 3, and put them on this page. And the third one I have is, and I don't think I like it. I mean, I like the napkin. I don't think this will lay on top of here very well. I was trying to get some of this gray over here, but I don't think so. Hi, Tracy. Ah, Dot, I'm sorry. I hate when I don't feel well and can't sleep. So I think I'm going to take this one out of the mix. So then the question is, this by itself, this will come through, just some starfish, or this and some starfish. There's 3 choices there. Oh, graphic 45, yum. All right, I'm gonna remove the layers. Something sticky on that one little part right there. Doesn't want it. There we go. Now these I save. I jelly print on these and use them. I just do a single pull, like with one color, because I know that the white's going to go translucent. No opinions yet. Dottie stays up late. That's why I'm not at Dee Dee's, is because I stay up late and I am not an early morning person. And this one, even though it's got that ghost print, I'll still jelly print on it. I'm leaning that way too. And then maybe once that's done, maybe we'll want to add one of these on there. Let's do that. And then I have something else to show you, but Brooke and Johnny are not here. Lori is. I'm leaning towards it. Popo's here. I know that I'm going to sell. I know that I'm going to have a sale and sell these books. They're the Book of Knowledge. And there are some pages ripped out, and I'm thinking about selling the books and then maybe doing some page, like 10 pages in the Etsy store. So I know I'm going to sell those. And there's like 20 books, basically. But the other thing that I pulled is, most of you know that I teach school, but I only have 4 years left. And I used to teach elementary. I used to teach 4th and 5th grade, and I taught math. So I have books that are in the garage. Some of them are torn up because kids looked at them. Some of them are in good shape. Some of them are torn up. But they would be good for collage fodder, a lot of them. So I have some books. We were talking about pigs the other day, and the only book I could find was the Christmas one. I cannot find The Pigs Go to the Beach, The Pigs Go to a Market, and The Pigs Go to a Party, like a Halloween party. I can't find those right now. So I may have sold them in a garage sale when I sold all my other math stuff. But somehow this was still in the science stuff. So I'm going to sell some of these picture books. And I thought they would be fun to use. And then look at this that I have. This is a Hurricane Almanac from 1986. And it documents, Eileen needs this one. And it documents all the hurricanes from that year and back in history. And it was removed from the shelf at a school library. So I have some things like that. And again, like I said, some of them are torn up because kids are kids and they don't treat your stuff nice. But like this is ginormous. It won't even fit. And it's got all kinds of planes. So they're mostly science. Some are math. So I'm going to talk to Johnny and get her assistance. Yeah, aren't they kind of cute? I wish I could find the ones where they go to the pigs, go to the beach. That was we used to use it to teach elapsed time. But then they took elapsed time out of 5th grade. It's about a 3rd grade level, and they're from an old textbook. They're actually hard to find anymore. And I had to search high and low to find them. But they're just sitting at my house. The other day in my feed, a picture came up that would kill some of y'all. It was a picture that was about 3 feet tall of math workbooks that I set at the curb to throw away. And I'm going to let this cross that seam. And I'll probably just tear it a little bit over here with water. It was 3 piles, 3 foot high, but it was all math books related to testing and old textbooks. And they came from our 3rd floor apartment. Bob was like, oh my God, I can't believe you even brought them up here. We had a room off of our master that was like a sunroom in that apartment. And I filled it with bookshelves. And I had all my books for teaching math and science that I wouldn't give up because I was still teaching math and science. So we have moved that stuff over and over. And all that is in my garage now, for the most part, is science. There are 2 shelves full of workbooks for science. Well, you don't really use workbooks much anymore. And I have copies of everything. So yeah, he will be happy when I get rid of all that stuff in the garage. And it can't all come in my studio. So I figured we could share the wealth. Yeah, they will. And now, in hindsight, I know they would have been perfect for like jelly printing on. But this was before this was right before the jelly plate came out. I really wasn't doing mixed media. I had no clue that though they had no value to me any longer, that they would still be valuable to someone. And I don't even think junk journaling was necessarily as popular then, but definitely they would have been great just to jelly print on. A lot of them were newsprint. Okay, so I put that across that seam and it'll help make that better. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry here for a minute, and I'm going to fussy cut one of the big starfish, and we'll try it in just a minute. And these starfish don't have, they've got to go in a corner because they don't have all their legs. So they have to go on an edge if we use them. Well, I will not throw away the science ones. When I'm done teaching, I won't get rid of the science ones because they sometimes change what you teach in science, or I'm doing a project and I need something on a topic and I still go and pull those books. I used the books when I taught math, but once I decided I am not leaving my job until I retire, and I'm not changing what I teach if it's up to me, and I don't see my boss moving me. And I'm at a 6th to 12th grade building, so yeah, the kids don't use those picture books and stuff. Okay, I'm leaning towards at the 1, and that leaves me room for something up here. And then I'm going to call this page ready to go as a background. When that's good and dry, I will trim the pages, the tissue and stuff off the side. All right, I'm going to use my heat gun real quick. All right. Hi, Sophia. So like I said, I'll trim still a little wet. I'll trim the top and bottom later. And then I'm using the deli paper in case that's a little tacky still before I turn the page. All right, so this page, I don't think I want to do anything up to it. One of the things that I have is I have some elephants that I've done that I'm going to use. So I have some of this. Some of y'all will recognize this napkin. I thought about using some of this napkin. I'm thinking about putting the elephants on this. I could put them here and just cut them out and put them right here. And maybe I was thinking about using them cut out and doing some of that. Not the whole thing, maybe just a cutout. Or maybe put the elephants on this page and use a piece of this across the top that ties the two together. That's what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning towards doing something like that across the top. Not as much. Maybe on this side. Could also be it also could just be on a corner. You know, so maybe something like that across the top, and then put the elephants down here and a quote. The chunkier stripe, I like the movement. And then the elephants can go right here is what I'm thinking. And then maybe the quote will go over here. Yes, I love the elephants. And I have 2 or 3 images of elephants that I've painted that I'm going to fussy cut one. And it's like a mama and a baby elephant. And they were on a canvas most of the time. Usually, I think most of them were. Oh, no, Sophia, I asked. I'm just going to override. Some of this I let like marinate, and I think about what's in my stash, and I think about it at night when I'm listening to a book trying to fall asleep. That's how I end up back in the studio at 2 or 3 in the morning, because then I'll start coming in pulling stuff. All right. And I'm going to give it a little bit of wiggle room there. And again, I'll cut off the part that overlaps the top of the page. That's why I stuck the deli paper in there. This is kind of how I work on the bunny backgrounds and stuff. A lot of times is I'll think themes and I'll know that a bunny's going to go on it or an animal's going to go on it. So I'm just trying to approach, but I have to make the double sides match. It's just who I am. The gold I used, which gold? This is Naples yellow and Arteza gold, and this is probably Naples yellow and Arteza gold as far as the paint goes. Here, the gold paint. Yeah, these were jelly prints, and I did a layer of black over here, and then I put a layer, probably it's on this came from when I did the jelly printing with Brooke, so I know it's on a video. I want to say I did a reddish brown for the second layer, and then the last layer I picked it up with Naples yellow and gold in Arteza. And then this is probably a cleanup print very close to that same time. And this is probably a mixture of Naples yellow because it's opaque and the metallic gold from Arteza. And then there's some blue grunge stuff that's in there. It's hard to see on the camera. All right, let me dry this real quick. All right, and then I'll take, and I just keep reusing the same deli paper. And then when I'm done with the book, I'll probably use some of this grungy deli paper to jelly print on and use it in the second book, probably. Okay, those are done. All right. I'm thinking leave this alone until I know what I want to do. Yeah, Lori, it's on there and it says Gelling with Brooke on the title. It's from Friday night. And I will stream again this Friday night. I don't know what I'll probably work on. I'm thinking I'll work Friday night on, I'll print some of the animals and work on some of these pages. So I think I'm going to leave this until I know what I'm putting on it. I might do tinted modeling paste in a pale, pale pink. Or a pale green. Thank you, Sophia. This is the one I think that I want to put the stencil. Bonnie sent these to Shauna, and then Shauna shared. So again, they're kind of oversized because this is more of a decorator stencil, but I kind of like that in your face size right now. And that's how I've done some of the animals that I did this last year, is I did zoomed in close-ups. So I like that there's this pear, and I like the grapes. So I think I'll just put that on there. I'll get rid of the packaging because, all right, and I'm going to use Deco Arts Bittersweet Chocolate, and then I'm going to add to that Arteza the one I have two colors of. It's called Pearl Deep Brown. It's A130. And I'm just going to put some on my table. And then this looks like a metallic bronze or a metallic espresso. But the craft paint will make it more opaque. Right. And I can't see very well. I'm just going to put a piece of tape right here. And just stencil that. And I may have to do a couple passes. And I'm just using a makeup sponge. And I just keep cutting. I don't wash them. I just cut off the old dry paint, and when it's too small a hold, I get a new one. I'm hoping this will give this page something to rest your eyes on. And push those back. And where the grapes are, it's a super thin line on the stencil, so I'm trying to make sure I don't have too much paint on my sponge, that it's kind of dry. And I'm kind of pushing down on the stencil in a few places because the book is warped. I could use the pixie spray, but I'm afraid it would tear. And I'm not watching chat right now, so I'll check chat in just a minute. Just come back and add a little more here and there. All right, I think that works. I might come in with a little white paint. I'm thinking. That's a lot of leftover paint, so trying to see if there's any place else that could. I'm just going to do the edges of this page and use up some of this extra paint. And I'm just keeping that card super flat. Hi, Deb. All right, I need another piece back here. Kind of finished. Let's clean that up or make a mess. And I'm going to soften some of that. I think it maybe got a little too heavy. Pull back and lighten some of it. And then I'll take and put a piece. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Dot, that they would make you, certain places are making you wear a mask. All right. So I'm thinking about just taking a little bit of white paint, not a lot, just. I love this paint, but I hate this container they switched to. These are those tubes that splurp out when you open them. But this is the best white. I liked it better when it came in the bottles. I don't know if you can get it in the bottles anymore, though. All right, I'm thinking. I'm just adding some white in here and there and kind of bringing the grapes back out. Too much on some of that. And then I'm even going to put some on the pear. Just, I know it's real subtle. It's hard to see on the camera. I'll hold it up just a minute. Just kind of make the stuff stand out more. I think, let me lift it up so you can see it a little better. I think that helps make it pop a little more. Little cherries down here. I think that helps set them apart a little bit.
All right, just going back in and building up kind of an edge. And then kind of softening it. All right. So I think that helped that calm that down and makes the stenciling stand out. I'm just using the Deco Arts opaque titanium white and a little bit of water here and there, and just kind of washed it down, and then blotting it with my paper towel if I, just to kind of get just a little whitewash. All right. A little bit of white paint there. Let's go back. I'll let that dry. Let's take this little bit of white paint that's on the table here, and I'll add a little bit on this page. Because I know it's going to get some white. All right. Water. Okay, you've done that. Added that little bit of brown to that. That can come out. That's dry enough now. Trying to see where I put my little Post-its. I think that can come out. That can come out. That was just stuck at the top there. All right, let's cut and trim. I find this a little easier to trim when it's drier. I really need to clean these scissors again. They're sticking. And I have to turn the book, sorry if I'm off screen. Okay, so let's count. Most have, or many have, markers, sprays, gesso, paint, stamp, paint, tissue. Many have as many as 7 layers, Kathy. This is deli paper. that I'm putting between the pages. Now, I keep coming back to the sprays and the splotting in the end a lot of times. So 7 to 8 layers on most of the papers. Oh, the paper page I was working on looked like vellum. Mostly it's napkin. There's occasional where I used some deli-like paper that might have been printed or some tissue. But I pretty much went through the whole book. Well, I glued all the pages. And then I just took alcohol markers and scribbled on some pages in the beginning. I didn't do it through the whole book because I found that a lot of it didn't smear like I liked. That's tissue. And then I went through with gesso on some pages, but not all of the pages have gesso. Because I found that sometimes I like the sprays. And then I remembered, oh, the FW inks. All right, I'm thinking this needs white. Hi, Nana. Yeah, it's hard because you're lagged and I'm ahead, so sometimes you don't know what. All right, so I'm just going to take some of that white paint, and I have a big Deco Arts. Probably never used it. Kind of, and I think I'll put some of this on one of these pages. And that can almost act like a mat if I put something on top, like a bunny or something on top of it. And I'm not going to worry if it's darker and lighter in some areas. And again, this is probably a stencil that's meant for like a wall, pillow, furniture, because they're ginormous. They're like 14 by 14. Kathy is who got me started with the go big idea, because she was getting the big paper and just started thinking more like large scale. And we painted that elephant that was all zoomed in on the fib paint along. And that's kind of, so I like that. Like I said, I think an image could go here, like a bunny could go here, but over here I want to do something smaller. I think I'm going to use the same stencil, but just use the inside part, because this is a mask. Oh, shoot. I got paint. Just a second. I got to move this. There we go. The other stencil that's on there is a mask from Christy Tomlinson when I first started mixed media. Christy Tomlinson is who I watched a lot on YouTube when I first started watching people on YouTube. I watched Paula, Journal Artista, Jean. As I got more into mixed media. And I did a lot of she art to begin with. Bob gave me a hard time about why the girls never had faces or eyes. So I started doing more realism again. And so I started incorporating more realism back into my mixed media. I kind of like that. I think it looks better. And then maybe a quote will go over here. Because I'm going to finish it out sort of scrapbook style. No, Jean does not come out to play anymore these days. Not even really to hang out and talk while but you can't really chat and knit, I think, is the problem. And I bet you she's hanging in some of the knitting lives possibly, or chatting over there. It was Joycey that made me get a Ustream account. Talking to Paula, and their interactions were so funny, and I enjoyed them so much. I'm just kind of moving that so it doesn't stick. All right. Do we think white spots? Yes, she has, like, there shouldn't be any more yarn left in her neighborhood. Just saying. I'm leaning towards white. Spots. White, black, or pink. Oh, Eileen. If we ask Eileen, she'll say, not pink.
I think I'm going to rule out white. I'm leaning towards the black, I think. Pink, CB says. All right, so all you have to do to use these for spots, take the little thing off the lid. I like a wet brush. Dip. And I'm going to put it on the table just so I can kind of manipulate it a little bit. And splot. And if I hit it, I can get kind of some of those sling sideways. Hi, Colleen. Do you ever find out what that tree is? You need to find out what that tree. So, great tip for splots. Easy. I just wiped up the leftover. I didn't add any water. They're the perfect consistency. And like I said, the set that I would recommend is this set that had black, white, gold, and I want to say it was a silver. They're over here. No, copper. This was, like, I looked at the Arteza, but I didn't need that many colors. Like, the Arteza is a great value. They have it. Deco Arts has big bottles of pouring paint. I didn't want that. So this was on Amazon, and it was these four for 10 something, like $10.50 in the US Amazon. And if I was going to, if that's all, that would suit most people's needs. Little gold, little copper, little black, little white. They have other color combinations, but that's what I would recommend if you just want some of your basics for $11, no water added. Easy. All right, so I think that one's done. All right, do we want to add lots of pour stuff at your Tuesday morning? I almost went yesterday, Colleen. Bob went to the Guitar Center, and I didn't. I was like, they never have anything. Nah, 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 nah. Mine never does. I think I want some of this black framing some of this. So I think I'm going to add some pieces of this. The white will go away. So what did you buy, Colleen, at Tuesday morning? Because I don't think you bought the pour stuff. And the deli behind just helps the pages not stick to the previous pages. Most of the pour paints have additives. The additive that they add typically is glue, clear binder. It's Floetrol. It's what's in the paint. It's not pigment. It's just
a watered down version of paint. So it's not anything, you add the oil to get cells. So there's nothing in the paint. Think of it as colorless liquid paint. That's just thin paint. It's and that's what's in most of those pours paints. You have to add the oil to get cells because some people don't like using the oil. Some people like getting the cells just from the different densities of paint. All right, and I'm going to use this. Ooh, that cut out the perfect size piece across the bottom. But there's nothing in it that's harmful or not in regular paint. But the pour paints make to do if you wanted to pour a canvas or something for your house, they can make it super easy. And if you do what they call a Dutch pour, it's not as messy. That's when you put a lot of white on your canvas. Well, actually, you paint your canvas is usually, and then you put the white on, and then you puddle colors in circles, and you use your hair dryer to blow the paint in the middle. I've done a couple of them. I don't have a diffuser on my hair dryer, so I can't get what I really want. I need to buy a hair dryer for in here with a diffuser. Like Kathy Arbor has a diffuser on her hair dryer that she uses. Okay. And then I think I'll put a third piece up here in the corner. I do use the flame. That helps pop air bubbles and it helps produce cells. And I use that more towards the end. And some people use their heat gun to do that too. Some people don't use, you are less likely to get air bubbles with this kind of paint because you're not stirring the paint. You're just pouring this into the cups and then dumping it. So yeah. To keep your curls from, I never used them on my hair to keep your curls from losing the tangling and stuff, I think. All right, I think I like that. That one's hanging off. I'm just going to tear some of the extra off right now. This has a brush. This is for like curling your hair. It's got a hairbrush, the round hairbrush that you're supposed to, and I got it for alcohol inks, but I like it because it's a lot of air, but it's not as hot. So it dries a little faster.
And that's the tinted Timmy tissue that we tinted with the homemade Daddy Van tint that we made. All right, let me turn that and trim. That, and I think we are just about done. And I did do a flip through of the whole book at the beginning of the video. If anyone came in late and is interested. And Friday, I'm going to stream and I'm going to start finishing the pages with focal points. That's good. That's good. And I just take these out as I'm done with them. I'm going to probably leave. That's still tacky. That needs to dry right there. Yeah, spiral perm. I had waist length hair with the gray streak during the 80s. And I saw Pretty Woman, well, Julia Roberts on tons of things at that time. And I wanted those big, loose curls. So I tried a spiral, but they always would use too small of a rod because nobody would believe me when I would say that my hair has a lot of body and it takes a perm really well. They would always think because it was long and heavy and I had so much hair that I didn't know what I was talking about. So they would always end up using, they didn't use the right kind of curlers. Now, when I was a kid, they smelled really bad. And my mom would make me sit on the floor and she would use dippity-doo, remember dippity-doo, and bobby pins and put pin curls all over my hair. And she would do that on like Sunday night. And I would sleep with them on my head or the foam curlers once it was longer. And then it would take them out. And then I would have curly, wavy bob, you know, like a page boy. I had bangs because they didn't use hot curlers. And I would have that the whole week of kindergarten, first grade. I'll find pictures and I'll show you. I'll get my scrapbook albums out because I've got some pictures of it. And then they would subjugate us to perms every once in a while. And we would usually run screaming from the room because we hate. My mom didn't use rag rollers. I've seen them used. Like I know of them, but I don't remember rag rollers. Oh my God, Lori B.
I remember I didn't like it. It was a fight because I didn't like sitting that long. All right, I think I'm going to wait till we know what we're putting on this page. It needs more white, but I don't really know where yet. It needs, depends what I put on it. Same with this one. This one might get the bear or the monkey because the monkey's kind of dark. This might get the monkey, and then that would be enough. And a quote. I'll print all that stuff before Friday. I love that sound. Don't you love that when you hear that sticky paint stuff? This one I think needs a bunny and a quote. I think I'm going to leave this one too. I really like this. And I'm thinking if a bunny was here and a quote was over here, that this would be good. I do remember handing my mom papers, little pieces of what we would call like tissue paper for when we did the perm. I would have to hand her the papers to wrap on the, right? A peacock. Yes, I have a peacock, Colleen. A peacock will have to go somewhere because I do have a peacock. Could put a peacock here and a quote. I'm going to print a bunch. This needs something. Susan Popo said white, and I kind of agree. It's either what I think dark purple. I kept the purple out thinking maybe some purple, but then I think it'll go too dark. Yeah, the perms, the little perms, they were little square pieces, and they would wrap it around the tip of your hair before they would roll it. Yeah, the old plastic. Yeah, they were this, and they were plastic, and they would pull that little thing and lock it. And it would hurt and kill. Hi, Hilla. Oh, are you getting buff? Oh, buff. Okay, Kathy, I have buff. I'm thinking something with a bigger opening. I'm thinking bubbles. This is a lot of craziness. So I'm thinking bigger openings. Let me pull some Jones stencils. Okay, here's 3 options. These are Jones. Those are like a diamond pattern. But that might be too big. This is circles, small and large. And that'll have some pinks, pops of pink. But I'm leaning maybe towards this. This is oh my gosh. I have had parents come to conferences with all kinds of things. We had a parent that would wear tank tops, and she had a tattoo on her back that said, "Boss rhymes with witch." It was across her shoulder blades.
She was
I'm leaning towards this one because it's kind of girly and it leaves pops of pink. Yeah, this parent, her poor little sweet child. And I've seen her child since then, and she actually grew up to be a very nice young lady. Her mother was very well-meaning. When she was in the 4th grade, she told the teachers that she didn't need to know how to read or do math because she was going to be a model. She was a really pretty girl. And we would be like, okay, whatever. And then I had her again in the 4th grade, or I had her in the 5th grade. I don't remember. I had her in the 5th grade. This girl could not multiply. She could barely read. Maybe a 2nd to 3rd grade level was her math and her reading level. And she kept telling us that she was too pretty and she didn't need, and I kept telling her, I want to be your agent. Just let me know when you hit the big time, because come find Miss Epps and I'll be your agent. And she'd say, why? And I'd say, because you don't know how to read a contract because you can't read and you can't do math. So you're not going to know that everyone around you is stealing all your money. And she was like, oh, maybe I need to do some. She should have failed 5th, but she went to another school and they moved her to 6th and placed her. And she spent 2 weeks in the 6th, and then she went to a friend of mine's school and went to 7th grade. And therefore, because she went to my friend's school, I kept up with her. I knew, and I've seen her since then. And she's gone to college and graduated. And she can read and she can do math. It looks great because it's dirty. I think I'm going to turn it this way and leave a little bit of a border. All right. This was Stencil Girl Club last month or the month before. I think the month before. Yeah, I have one that's should fail 6th grade this year, but he can't fail 6th grade. He can't be in the 6th grade 3 years in a row. And bless his little heart, he came from a Middle Eastern country that was at war and doesn't speak English very well, doesn't read English, doesn't read his own language either. He speaks Arabic, but he doesn't read Arabic. So he's really hard to, and he didn't go to school because they were refugees. They were just worried about food and surviving the night. Go to the pawn shop, not the bank. Hey, I had a group of, I'm sure it was 5th graders. It was 5th or 4th. It was 5th. Now, this group of kids had been, it was summer school. They had been holy hell teaching them all year. And they were getting ready to take the TAC STAR. This is back when George W. Bush was president. And we have testing in the state of Texas, and it's like a really big to-do. And the fifth graders have to pass the test to get out of the fifth grade. So they're given 2 opportunities during the school year and 1 during the summer. So we were reviewing for the test that they were going to take. And one of the little girls said to me, why didn't I, well, she had 2 statements. Why is this test so hard? I heard George Bush is not smart. Why is the test so hard? I had to inform her that George did not write the test himself. And then she said, why didn't I just tell them the answers when they were taking the test? And I said, I didn't want to lose my license. And she said, what does that matter? Mr. Epps can just drive you around, because she thought I meant driver's license. Let's just say that one was quite the prize to have in class. She was funny. What's sad is I know her name still in my head. Will probably die knowing that name. And there's a couple other names that some of my friends who are musicians came with Bob to my 5th grade class to teach about sound. And they still talk about some of those kids and remember their names. I think that looks good. Right, and then I'm just going to kind of line it up on this side. It's close enough. But, you know, they say out of the mouths of babes, they say some of the funniest things. Even the older kids, you know, even at 6th graders, they sometimes have hilarious ideas. Or they're very literal. You know, they don't listen really well. So I have been known to be very, like they would ask, back when we had a book, and you'd tell them, turn to this page, and, you know, you would be asked, you'd said it 3 times, it was written on the board, and somebody would ask you, and I would just lie. And I would say, 575. I'd just pull a number out of my head, and they would start looking, and they'd be like, this book ends at page 300, Miss Epps. Oh, maybe you should have listened the first time or read the board. So they quit asking me because I would just give them nonsense answers. And then they would ask things like, do we have homework? And I would say, you do now. Because I hated 30 people asking me that question as they came in the room. Are we going to have, in math class, are we going to have homework? And the other kids would be like, don't ask her that. In science class. In math class, they'd be like, are you stupid? We always have homework. Some of the Delusion sprays are coming back up through this paint, which I'm not mad at. In fact, I almost wished I'd kept the inside of the circles of the flowers. I don't know, it wouldn't have worked as well. And I'm just doing a very dry
layer. Probably not. I had this kid, and he never brought a pencil to class, but he was like, he was very hyper and not on medicine. And then they put him, we talked his mom into this, back when you could have these conversations. We explained how he would do so much better if he was just on the medicine, like he could focus, and it was night and day. Well, when he was on the medicine, he came to class and he had a pencil and he had his work and he paid attention. And somebody didn't have a pencil, and he was like, oh my God, why are you just bugging? You know she's going to make you have a pencil. Just bring a pencil. And I was like, are you really saying that, sir? And then the other kids would be like, word. Oh, yeah, CB. We used to call that fundamentals of math is what it was called here. It's no longer, well, I think they put it back in. They took it away. We had another not so nice name for it. We had a not so nice name for the F. All right. I think that's better and way more muted for something to go down on it. Now we have cream colored paint that we haven't used. Do we want to put a little bit of that cream paint? Do we want some more? We could put some more cream paint right here. I think what I want to use is a tree. This is a jelly print of a tree stencil. And I have the 6x6 of that tree branch somewhere in this little bucket. Birch trees. Here it is. I think I'll put some of these tree branches in the background because I'm pretty sure this is going to have a wild animal. And I'll just keep it kind of light. In some places, I'm not even going to worry if it doesn't show up everywhere, and then I'll move it. Put it again. I have this mask too, really big. It's one of my favorite to use. And I'm not getting a lot of paint through the stencil. I'm just getting some here and there. Yeah. Because I'm thinking that this is the one I might put the quote over here and the bear, or the bear over here and the quote over here. The one that I did for Bob, I think I'll do a print of that where the bears come like walking down to the stream. So this will be kind of the ground area back here. And once I have the print, then I might come in and wash a little of this and create like a horizon line. Yeah. All right, and I'm out of that paint, so that's all I'm going to do right there. I can leave that. Can be added more later. When I have the bear, then I can come in and do more. Okay, I think that's dry. I think that we don't have any more pages that need attention today. Some of these pages I may end up just putting a quote on. Like this one, I like it just the way it is. And so I may just use a quote and put it right here and call like this done. So like this, I like this quote. Let's just do that right there. I do like the fact that you can see the lines from the composition book. When you're putting in a quote, that kind of comes in handy. Then I'll put some gel medium. So that says, sometimes the winds of change carry us to better places. And this is a stencil from Deco Arts with thin wax through it. And it's on layers and layers of sprays. And like that one doesn't need anything on it. So thanks, Sophia. I'm fixing to see what Bobby wants to do for dinner. And I'm going to come on Friday at the same time, 4 o'clock Eastern. I will print several images and fussy cut them between now and then so that we can then audition them in different places and kind of finish up the backgrounds. I need to take photos of the ones I finished today for digital prints, and then I feel free to do what I want to do. So some of them will be as simple as that, and I'm just going to put a quote, and some of them I'm going to put my artwork. Hi, Beth.
I'm going to use some of the paint-alongs, the fib paint-alongs that we did when Beth, Colleen, Kathy Berg, and I streamed, and we all did stuff. The dog, the zebra, an elephant, trying to think what else. I'm going to use the monkey. I know I'm going to use the bear. I'm going to use some bunnies. I'm going to use the girl on the picnic table. Thanks, Kathy. So Friday I'm going to stream and work on finishing out some of the pages. And between now and then I can print all that, fussy cut it. The quote books that I'm going to use, I may print some quotes too. I have some quotes saved, some meme type quotes. I'm going to use the Studio Light books, and the Tim Holtz is what I'm going to use for a lot of the quotes. But I know that a couple of them, like I know that a dog is going on the dog page. I know a dog has to go on here, and I have the perfect puppy that I want. Well, I actually have two that I'm going to print. One of them are going to go on here, and then a quote about dogs is going to go over here. So I'm going to do it very scrapbook style. Hi, Brooke. Oh, Brooke, I got stuff to show you. I have your box ready. I'm going to go to the post office tomorrow, Brookie. It's all ready. I'm going to do a media because I put a book in it. But I did pull some of those books, Brooke. I was showing them. I need to still talk to Johnny. But I have several books that are fun little picture books that could be used for collage. Some of them are torn up. So like this one's just like animals. That would be great for reverse collage. I don't do reverse collage. This is a storybook, but like my kids don't sit and listen to that. But this would be a fun journal, possibly. This is just a little workbook like Be a Scientist, but somebody could jelly print on it. But this is the pig book, Brookie. This is the pig book, and I can only find one. So I think I may have sold the other three. I had the piggies go to the beach. I had the piggies go into the market, and I had a piggies going to a Halloween costume party, but I don't know where they are. So all I can find is the Christmas one. Look at it. They are so stinking cute. It was part of a 3rd grade math book from the 70s or 80s probably. But look at all of the fun. And the whole story, they teach some kind of math. They're taking a plane trip. So this is like, looks like it's elapsed time and calendars again, because there's a lot of clocks on it. So this is probably telling time. The one, but it's got fun pages. Yeah, they don't do, some of them don't do math so well. In fact, Mr. Pig doesn't do math very well at all. But the kids have to do the math as you're doing the story. And then they're, you know. So then there's this one too, is fun. I love guinea pigs. We had a guinea pig
in the classroom. So this is all about taking care of guinea pigs. A place for 0. 0 as a placeholder. This one actually a real math teacher could use still, but I don't teach math anymore. And some of them are falling apart because the kids just are hard on stuff. So this is like popular science year by year. And this is a big book. So I'm going to get with Johnny so she can kind of give me an idea of auction or... Yes, aren't they cute? The real guinea pigs were cute too. Look at all those little guinea pigs. We had a guinea pig named Roy. I don't remember what... Roy and something. We had 2. I taught 6th grade, and we went to Thanksgiving vacation. We came back, both had passed away. So I never got another guinea pig. It was too traumatic. Somewhere I have a stuffed guinea pig. So I'm going to get with Johnny about selling those and doing the books. And the other thing that I had, I've been cleaning, can y'all tell? The other thing that I think I should sell is I have a few buttons. More than I will ever use in my lifetime. So I thought this would be fun to do some little like packages, like so many in a baggie. Some of them are very specialized. There's a lot of cat ones. There's some sewing ones that are specific to sewing. Like there's a little cat. There's several that are different colored sewing machines. These were gifted to me. And I'm going to keep some. But I will not. And it's frustrating when I go to look for a button to dig through here. Like there's these car buttons. They're like bugs. Hot lips. Everybody needs pink hot lips, don't they? Is this one for Popo and Eileen? Actually, I have a friend that I should give this to. So, sell them by weight and pick out the theme ones first. Okay. See, I don't, like I said, yeah, I could find all the ones that are the cars. This is like balls of yarn. There's lots of sewing ones, sewing machines. There's lots of cats, little bees. Look, Beth, little bees. Stars. So I could definitely go through and pick out. There's a different bee. Most of them, the shanks are still on them. Occasionally the shank, like this one, the shank is cut off. I probably was going to put it on something and change my mind. So I'll work on doing that. Yeah, I have no idea. But I know that I will not use this many bees. No, there are no pearl buttons in there. And I don't think there's anything in here that is the celluloid. I don't think there's anything tortoise. I think these are all 80s and 90s buttons. I don't think there's anything in here super vintage.
There are some nice shank metal ones, but I don't think there's anything in here super old. The person who gave this to me is a cousin of Bob's. Yeah, they were not used, most of them, I don't think. Some of them may have come off closed. She sews quilts and she makes bags. It's somebody that's related to Bob that I met on Facebook through an ancestry.com. So I know her. It's Bob's cousin, 3 times removed. But like there's a little clothespin. I don't know. And she was cleaning out her sewing studio. So I'm assuming some of them she bought to maybe make the quilts and maybe put the kids' quilts and put the button in the 4, between the 4 squares. Hi, girly girl. Yeah, they look very new. They do not look very vintage to me at all. I'm not, like I said, I'll pull out, like Brooke said, I'll pull out some of and make some bags of some of the specialty. Should I do them by colors or keep them random? I could do some of both. I was just going to keep them random. But like, look at these. They're doll heads. I didn't even see these till yesterday. This one is lost its shank. And this one has a shank. But they're kind of creepy baby. I should have put these in your box, Brooke. Yeah, the sewing, the bees, the cats. Keep them random. Yeah, the doll heads, they're creepy. That's as close to creepy baby at my house that you're probably going to get. Now, I have some vintage pet photos that I used in some artwork that you would love, Brooke. I did a whole series. So I'm going to keep looking because I'm trying to cull. I want them to go to a good home, but I don't use them. I'm going to keep a few in some colors that I would typically possibly use. And because I use them here and there for flowers, or like I put one in and that's what made me get them out. But the books and this, I don't think there was anything else that, like I said, I was just trying to cull. Yeah, I'm just going to use baggies, and I can pull those out while I'm watching TV and put them all together and then look at like if it'd make 1 bag or 2 bags, depending how many there are. But like, that's birthday candles. But it could be a pin too. It's little. That's a castle. So some of them I just, like I said. And it's just, when I dig through it, I get frustrated because I'm trying to find 2 that match. And I can't find what I'm looking because they fall back on themselves. So now those might be older, but I still think they're not valuable. But see, this is a bin that could be off my shelf that could be filled with something else, like thin waxes, something that I use. Yep, Creepy Baby's Thursday. I have a little scale so I can weigh them and say what the assorted ones, I can put on the little baggie with a sticker or Sharpie what the baggie weighs.
And I'll get some stickers because I like how Brooke has and Johnny have the stickers out or the Post-it notes, and they have it ready. And I have some bags that I can just, okay, put this in a bag and it's ready to. These I know can go book rate, media rate, and this will have to go like regular mail. Yeah, I just want to have, these were in the garage. Oh, these are 2 shelves in my art room. These are all in the garage. And things got to go. I have held on to them long enough. So that's the plan. Like I said, I'm going to work on organizing it. Yeah, post inside the baggie. The Post-it note inside the baggie or inside the front of the book. Yeah, I noticed that Johnny was tagging some of the cellophane bags too with stickers. But Post-it note, and I have cellophane bags from sending stuff. Not necessarily for the books, but yes, yeah, I imagine. I have had that happen when I sold the watercolors. And I can't decide if I'm going to make more watercolors to sell or not. All I have left for watercolor in the studio I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the same. That's empty. I have 5 tins of watercolors. I still have them in the shop at $15 for a trio. And I actually have enough watercolors to make probably 1 or 2 more trios. And I don't know if I'm going to make more watercolors or not right now. I still have pigments. But I'm down to five empty trays. So I might make watercolors to fill that up. I have the little pans, but I'm close to out of the watercolor stuff, and I just don't know if I want to order another bottle and so those are my used up ones. They're gonna be gone someday. So those are left in the shop. Like I said, these 2 are the same. This is the Dr. Pepper, the tomato soup, and the Frito. That's a really good set. This is Dr. Pepper, Frito, and a purpley blue. This is Frito Gold, Sage, and no, that's not Dr. Pepper. There's a burgundy in there. And this is a coral, a blue, and a gold. And then I have probably like a blue, a gold, and another coral. This would be very similar to that set that I can make. And then this is 3 metallic. So that's all I have left. Yes, I would not, I would put the label on the plastic or a Post-it note carefully inside the book. And these are good because they're not very sticky. So inside the book, they'd be good. And then in the bag. Yeah, mine are all in a card. I haven't watercolored in a while. So I just need to put these little trios in a listing. So, hi, Peggy. So I may just do like a on request kind of thing if somebody, I may make up what I have till it's gone and then, yeah, I like these. These were for mints for weddings. And this color was like half off on Oriental Trade. And every one of these came with a little plastic package of mints. I didn't know that when I ordered them. So I have a big jar of little mints. And they were like, you're supposed to put your information for your wedding on here and give them away at a baby shower or a wedding as like a little table gift. Yeah, I have a ton of mints. I didn't realize when I ordered them. You can order them with labels. I could have ordered them with like my name on it or something, but I ordered this orange color because it was on sale rather than paying double the price. But first I ordered these big ones, but they hold way too many watercolors. So that was expensive and people don't want to invest in that much. But I can get 6 in here. Actually, if I do a second row, I can get 12. I sent Paula 12 in this little tin and shipped them. And so then I can ship them in like a little envelope. But I just felt like maybe they've reached the demand. Plus they take up room in the studio. You got to have places for them to dry and cure. So right now I have it down to what I can sell fits in this little tub, and the extras are in this little tray. Actually, everything could go in here. I pulled out my silhouette, took pictures so I can list that on Facebook because I'm going to sell my silhouette too. Yeah, those little, I got them on Amazon. And this size usually costs me about $3.50 to mail in the US. But I found out the other day I can't use this size to go to with the customs. In my post office, there's not enough place to stick all the labels. So she made me take this package and put it in a bigger envelope. So I'll probably get some of the, not the bubble ones, but the lightweight ones like Nikki and Xandra use for the books, possibly, or the boxes. I think boxes would be better. And this is how I sorted for Lena. This is how right now I sorted my Arteza. I just did colors in different cups. And I put it, it's in my cart on the top. But I was tired of, you know how you would dig and you couldn't find the color you want. So these are all like the pinks and all the purples, all the yellows and oranges. That way, they're in the cart so they won't tip over.
And I got all of them standing up so I can at least look in the cup. Because I was digging through all 60 tubes trying to find the color. And I don't have a place to like do the bowl nose clip and hang them up within arm's reach, or the shoe over the door shoe thing and put them in there. I couldn't think of a way to keep them on the cart. I like to pull them next to me. Because what I have is I have 3 carts. I have a cart that is dedicated. The top is alcohol inks, and the bottom is like, the bottom 2 are just like mediums, like varnish. And then those acrylics. And then below that are watercolors, the 2 shelves below that. And then I have another cart that is all acrylics. And then I have the top of a shelf that is acrylic. And I have a shoebox that is metallic acrylics. I need to do some pours because I threw away one of these the other day because it was liquid on the top and rubber on the bottom. So some of these that I had that Shauna gifted me and I had are going bad. So I need to do some pours because it's use it or lose it. Oh, Debs, yeah, I want to get it up and out. Yes, I hate when I lose paint. I hate when I have to throw away paint and I don't use it. But what I know what this is, these are going to be a big pita because they're impossible to get out of this dumb jar. But I paid $1.75 for these. And they're thick, and I really should use them on the jelly plate. They're a little too thick for pours, but I need to like use them up. I use them at school. If we do something at school, I take these to school, and I've used a lot of them, but they're hard to get out of here. They burp, and they're so thick that you're shaking them down, and then when you squeeze it, it splats out. Yeah, and I have probably 15 or 16 of these. But when we do projects at school, I can, like we painted pumpkins, I use these. We painted stuff for Harmony Around the World, I use these. When we do door decorating contests, I'll take these to school and do something to put in my room on the paper, the paper. I thought they would be good for paint pouring, but they're way too thick. They're thick like a heavy body. They are not thin. And they say easy pour tops. That is a lie. Yeah. So a lot of it I'll use up at school, but they're going to start going bad. A lot of my paint is the same age. I need new washi storage too. In fact, that may be what goes in one of these bins when the buttons are gone. All right, ladies and gents, if there are any gents, thank you for hanging out. I'm going to stream Friday at 4 Eastern, 3. I will finish loading the digitals on my Etsy. I have most of these are in digital packs. The last few ones are just about ready to combine, and I'm putting them in sets of 5 for $5. So those are in my Etsy. And then after I do the last stage, I'll probably take some pictures and make some digital. Some more digital.
Oh, yeah. Mine's not so decorative. I used to have stuff hanging on the wall, but I took it down when I went to art shows, and now it's hard to get to. I need to put some stuff back up. Yep, look how fluffy, but this I weigh it down every night, which kind of helps. And then we need to do the outside. I need to do something on the outside too. I'm thinking I might take a big piece of that newsprint that Kathy gave me and jelly print it or do something and use that one big piece so that I can wrap it around the whole thing, and then even maybe trim and fold in pages and then just put something right here to cover it. Might use fabric, but I don't think I have any fabric. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Paula's streaming tomorrow night. Shauna is streaming tomorrow evening. Dee Dee in the morning. I think that might be it tomorrow. Is it Dee Dee in the morning? Then Shauna, and after Shauna is later on the evening is Paula. I think that's it tomorrow on Wednesday. Bye, Lena. You need to go to bed, you and Dot. Everything in my room is covered with spray particles.